In today's video, I want to take you through one of my favorite upper body push routines. I've been a personal trainer for over 10 years now, and this is one of the routines that I find to be the most efficient and effective. And assuming you have all of this equipment and no limitations, feel free to try it out for yourself and let me know how you like it in the comments below. Alright, so let's jump into it. First up, we're going to start with a really easy warm-up. Make sure that your warm-up's very easy. I would start with something that's a little bit cardio-based just to get the heart rate going. My favorite option for this is just simply hopping on a treadmill at a slight incline and walking for 5 minutes. After this, we're going to get into more specific dynamic stretching. So in terms of our workout today, we're going to be focusing primarily on the chest and triceps. Therefore, I like to warm up the chest, the shoulders, the arms just a little bit, and I keep it very simple with some weighted arm swings and maybe even some weighted arm circles. Remember, for a warm up, you want to keep it dynamic and you want to do as little as possible. Don't take too long warming up if you don't need to. It's probably just going to be a waste of your time and it could affect your lifting. Just do the bare minimum that you need for the routine that you're implementing. All right, so now we're going to jump into our first lift, which is the bench press. Nothing beats a good old-fashioned bench press for building an amazing chest. And we're going to jump into this with a few warm-up sets. I almost always start with the bar, and then I'll add a 45 on, and then depending on how heavy you're going to go from there, I usually add a 25 or another 45 on and kind of build up to your working weight. Again, don't do too many reps on these. I usually keep it at 5 or less. So my reps today are going to be 4 sets of 5 on the bench press. So I'm going to start with the warm up of the bar and I'm going to do 5 reps on that. And then I'm going to put on 135 pounds and do about 3 to 5 reps from there. Then I'll put 185 on and do a couple of reps. And then at that point, I'm pretty much ready to go with my working sets, which today is just going to be 225. Here I do 4 sets of 5 reps. Now, when you do the bench press, make sure you have a good arch in your back, make sure it's really tight, but at the same time, make sure you're having a full range of motion. You don't want to be like those powerlifters that barely move the bar at all. You want to implement the new powerlifting rules, which is to make sure that your arm goes past parallel to the ground. Make sure that the bar comes all the way down and touches your lower chest, and then push it all the way up to a full lockout. Your feet don't have to be fully on the ground, you can just have your toes on the ground, but make sure they're really digging in. This really is kind of a full body exercise. Your feet, your legs should be tense, your core should be tense in the sense that your back is arched, and your upper back muscles should be pulling your scapula together. With your hands, you should almost feel like you're pulling the bar apart. Then from there, just lower the bar gently. Think about having a spring on your chest and then press up as fast as you can. If I'm gonna do the bench press in a routine, I always like to start with it because it's a major compound exercise. Just like on legs, I would start with squats. I wouldn't start with leg extensions. So in all of your workouts, make sure you're starting with your big compound lifts and then moving to your isolated lifts. We've just worked out the bulk of the chest with the bench press. Now I like to hit the clavicular head or the upper chest with dumbbell incline press. With these, you can have an even better range of motion than you can on the bench press. Although typically you can't lift as much weight on this as you would a normal bench press, you can have a better and fuller range of motion. So make sure you're doing that with this lift. With the dumbbells, make sure you're coming all the way down and having a good stretch in that chest, and then locking out the arms at the top and even potentially bringing them in just slightly for a better chest squeeze. When you do this too, make sure your elbows are just slightly tucked in. You don't want them so tucked in that they're right next to your body, but just slightly, and that would take off some of the pressure on your shoulders as you're performing this lift. Same thing as on the bench press here. You want to pretend like you have a spring on your chest. You want to go down really slow and then burst up quickly. Here we're going to perform 3 sets of 10 reps. Up next, we're going to go into cable overhead tricep extensions. Now this one, you can actually place the cables at a variety of different angles. You can go above your head, around your torso, or even lower towards the ground. Since we're going to do 3 sets of 10 reps on this lift as well, we might as well hit all angles. So when you're doing this, make sure that your arms are above your head, and this will really isolate and target those triceps. Come back as far as you can with your hands, and then as you come forward and you extend your arms, you're actually going to pull your hands apart. This will really help isolate your triceps, and if you don't feel a burn doing this lift, I don't know what to tell you, because this one to me burns more than any other lift. And like I said, here we're going to go 3 sets of 10. You can feel free to add on a few extra reps if you want. 3 sets of 12 works really well. Usually for the isolation exercises, you can add on a few more reps, and that would tend to work better for that muscle group in that exercise. And a little PSA during our workout, make sure you're having your protein shake. I actually like to have mine intra-workout or during the workout. I'll kind of sip on it throughout the workout and then finish it by the end. With some people, they feel a little sick when they drink protein throughout their workout, so if you have to, just drink it at the very end, but do it right after your workout. All right, so up next we have one of my favorite chest exercises, which are the cable flies. The reason I love this exercise so much is because you can get a really deep stretch in that chest and an even deeper squeeze on the contraction. With this, you can place the cables at a lot of different angles as well. I personally like having them around shoulder height. Make sure to step out with one foot in front of the other in a really strong stance. Have your arms really stretched back and then bring them forward using your chest and cross your hands over for an even better squeeze. And keep in mind, you don't have to cross them over, but I like to do that just to add a little more range of motion. From here, go back really slow as if it's a stretch, and then come back faster on the contraction portion. We're gonna go 3 sets of 10 with this exercise as well. Up next, we're gonna jump into dips. If you're not quite to that level yet, then feel free to use a bench or a chair and have your feet on the ground. The closer your feet are to your body, the easier it's gonna be, but if you have your legs straight out or propped up on something, it's gonna be even more difficult. So just like with every other lift, it's important with the dip to have a really good full range of motion. And the more forward you lean, the more you're gonna hit your chest. The more upright you are, the more you're gonna hit your triceps. But regardless of your positioning, you're gonna hit both of them either way. When you do the dip, make sure you go all the way down and feel a good stretch in your chest, and then come all the way up to a full arm lockout at the top, and you'll feel a really good squeeze in the triceps. Here we're gonna go 3 sets of 10 as well. And then I like to top off this routine with abs. And one of my favorite ab exercises is the cable crunch. When you do this, use the rope attached to the cables and have it higher than your head. From there, place a pad or a mat on the ground, grab the cables and kneel down onto it. And then to get the best range of motion for your abs, make sure you're starting with a good arch in your back, expanding the rib cage or expanding those abs, and then contract those abs, rounding your back over. So you're going from an arched back to a rounded back. And your elbows should finish somewhere around your knees at the bottom. And then at the top, make sure to arch again and really stretch out those abs. If you've never done these before, give them a shot. I guarantee you're gonna love them. This too is gonna be 3 sets of 10, but you can feel free to bump up to 3 sets of 15 as well. But if you have the appropriate amount of weight on there, you probably don't even need to. The reason I love this exercise so much is because you can use a lot of weight for your abs, and it's harder to do that on exercises like crunches. All right, so this wraps up my upper body push routine. Let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. And if you'd like to grab our muscle training guide, I'll link that in the description down as well. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel, and maybe even share it with a friend. And thank you so much for watching.